always have been. In the ring and in business. 30 years of battles, rising, falling, rebuilding. I've made money, I've lost money, but it wasn't until I created Zapata Systems was I able to really climb my way out. But the toughest fight, it wasn't physical. It was watching money walk out the door week after week, whether to vendors charging too much or labor not justifying the revenue. That money stress, it doesn't always stay at work. It follows you home, turns into arguments, cold dinners, and broken peace. And then there's the IRS, back taxes, deadlines, pressure you can't punch your way out of. Zapata Systems shows you what you're really paying. It gives you control, leverage, and savings. This isn't about surviving. It's about winning. You're in a fight. Start acting like it. Zapata Systems. Fight smarter.
It's Thursday. We are live. What's up, Gregorio? What's going on?
Giuseppe, what are you doing?
Nothing much, man. Let's look at some of these comments here. We got Ron Simmons always starting it off with damn.
Damn, Ron.
Damn, what is going on, man? Hey, Greg, did you hear about the Mets might realign with the Yankees in the same division?
Dude, that's why are they doing that, though?
That's stupid, right?
Do you understand? Do you know how hard that division would be? The Mets would be the easiest team. You'd have the Mets, the Red Sox, I forgot who, wait a minute, the Toronto Blue Jays. I mean, you'd have the way they want to realign it, they would destroy baseball.
They would destroy it. I don't know.
Stupid.
Yep. Mike M, 1388. What's up, guys? Thanks for another Thursday night. What's up, Mike M? What's going on, my man?
How you doing, Mike?
Smalls, how you doing? Howdy. Smalls. Skip, what's going on, man? Let's see both of you. Yeah, you too. John Saldy, what's up,
Saldy, my guy.
How you doing, John? Hope you're feeling better, John. You know, getting past everything you have with all those, surgery and all that stuff. It's kind of crazy, man. Then we had another Jake Paul was announced he's going to fight Tank Davis, which is like sort of really bad for boxing because Jake Paul outweighs him by like 60 pounds, and it's going to be another mismatch. Jake Paul, I don't know. I don't know what they even expected of this.
Why doesn't he fight like Francis Ngannou? That would be a great fight.
Yeah.
Or of course, I don't think he could beat Ngannou. I got to give Jake Paul credit though. He does starch people, and even Joe Rogan said he's definitely got some fucking power. But come on, you're not getting. You are definitely picking the fucking.
Oh, of course.
He's picking. Fight Francis Ngannou. That would be fucking huge.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Fight though, something like that.
Or Tyson Fury. Why don't you fight Tyson Fury? Then we could call you. If you actually beat him, then you would be the undisputed boxing champion of the world.
Yep. John says, Joe, I bet anything that fight doesn't happen. I don't know. It looks like it's all ready to go, from what I understand. But, we were talking to everybody. It's just bad for boxing. It's just really bad for boxing. Makes boxing look really weak.
Right.
It's not good at all. Small says, because he's afraid. Yeah, I don't know.
John, you know what's funny? John Saldi, I forgot. I can't believe I forgot the fucking guy's name. But there was another guy with Anthony that owned that gym that you're talking about. We talked about last week. I've been witness. I wanted to tell you in a worse way. And motherfucker, I fucking just lost the name. Isn't that funny? I said when John Saldi comes on, I got to ask him if he remembers it. And I fucking Ricky Rondinelli. Holy shit.
Ricky Rondinelli. Okay.
Ricky Rondinelli. I don't know if you remember him. Ricky Rondinelli used to run a lot of bodybuilding shit and everything. John Saldi, I don't know if you remember, Ricky Rondinelli also was involved in that. Okay, so let's go back to that.
John says Tank is 135 pounds. Jake is 225-ish.
Yeah, it's just, he's definitely picking and choosing his fights, and, I mean, it's look, bad. I mean, I don't like that. I mean, you're definitely picking and choosing guys that that you could take. I mean, I want to see fight somebody legit so you can really. I actually like Jake Paul. I'm not gonna lie, I do like him. But first of all, if you ever saw Jake Paul, literally like 10 years ago or less, you know what I mean? He was like a happy Larry. You know what I mean? Like you saw him in, like when he was in high school. Like look at you would be like, this guy get his ass kicked. But he surrounded himself. He got the Scudall. right? Him and his brother made a lot of money on fucking, on YouTube. Then they started they got the best fight fucking guys in their corner. They started taking the Babanya. Don't say he didn't take the Babanya. Don't, like he took the fucking Babanya, and it. It's so, you could see it. It's not even the same guy. You know what I mean? And he just followed. I don't know, but he could definitely, throw hands. I could tell you that. He's not a pussy, but but you definitely prove to me though. Francis Ngannou, that would be a great one. Obviously Tyson Fury. I don't think, I don't think that he would do that. Tyson Fury would do it, especially if you threw the kind of shot all in there that you're capable of throwing. I think he would definitely do it. I mean, he couldn't beat Tommy Fury. Should knock Tommy Fury out. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can imagine Tyson Fury.
Yeah. All of us want to see Paul get knocked out, but he's just playing it perfectly, picking the right choices to fight, and it's crazy.
Well, it's not that I want to see him get knocked out. I want to see him beat somebody. I want to see, the one thing he did when he fought Tyron Woodley there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Woodley was could throw hands. He was a tough guy, and he knocked him. I mean, he knocked him out to the point where his fucking feet went out like this and went straight down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. By the way, Ruben Sanchez wanted me to remind you and Lucia about the pill. What do they call it?
Yes, Ruben, you should get that. She sent it yesterday, I think.
Okay, because
for my friend Mitch, he owns,
Mitch, yes,
Mitch owns the company. Yeah, he
has every opportunity.
She doesn't own anything. Mitch, my friend Mitch, yes.
Mike M13A says he can't fight a real boxer. Nope. No,
he can't. But that's what I'm saying. I want to see him like it's maybe if you kind of want to see him get knocked out, but at the same time I want to see him beat somebody too. It's either way. I want to see what he really has.
Yep, Smalls. He's making killer money doing this shit. Yeah, he is. Give him credit. He's making money, screwing us all over, watching Netflix, and we all want to see it because we all want to see him lose. Dan, what's going on, Dan? Hey, Joe and Greg, what's going on?
Hey, Dan, what's going on?
What's going on, Dan? William Allen's there. He says, hey, guys, anyone watching the two-hand touch football games? So many missed tackles, Steelers and Panthers. Yeah, do you ever a joke now?
Do you watch the girls that fucking is like a football league where there's all like jacked up chicks? You could tell they're doing a juice. They're like, you know what I mean? Like they're even jacked up. They're fucking like, and they wear like just pads with fucking belly button showing. You're trying to look hot, but you can see they all got fucking jacked legs.
Well, you see the Vikings, Minnesota Vikings football team. They got a male cheerleader.
Is that the team that put?
And they got a male cheerleader, and everyone's freaking out about it. They're like, this should not happen. And people are totally.
Traditionally, the men in there are there to assist the women, but these guys are like, "Yeah, what's up?" You know, what I mean, like that.
Yeah,
that like it's like
it's ridiculous.
But look, everything today is like woke. I mean, Cracker Barrel just changed their fucking bullshit. You know, what I mean, like it's like it's all caving into the fucking left. Minnesota's very, very, very liberal woke bullshit. You know, that's where like they want to even fucking. There's a section up there where they want to even put like Sharia law, where all the what that shit is and all that. It's come on, man.
Yeah, Keith, he said, Greg, thank you for straightening out Dave about Arnold. He always tries to shoot low when it comes to our president.
Yes, Dave. Listen, I love Dave. Okay, Dave's a great guy, but he's too politically correct, and he loves Arnold. And I think if Arnold killed somebody, he'd be like, "Well, he didn't really stab the guy. The guy ran in front of the knife." You know what I mean? Or look, when somebody says "screw your freedoms," okay, that you can't say, "Well, he's saying I took it out of context, or we all took it out of context." It's not the truth. I'm not bashing Dave, but I look. Screw your freedoms means screw your freedoms. And Arnold's came out. I said it yesterday with Joe Pietaro. Arnold came. I'm constantly calling Joe Pietaro Joe Zapata. Constantly. It's like incredible. Even he laughs about it. But like I was saying, like Dave, like you don't realize Arnold. Remember when January 6th, Arnold came out, compared it to like when the Nazis started with the Jews, like the night of broken glass. Which his own father, I think, I'm not sure if his father was involved in that, but he was definitely involved in the Nazi party. And that shit, the broken glass shit, was when that's how the Holocaust began, where they went around to all the Jew businesses and they started smashing in their windows and where they lived in their mansions and all that shit, and that's how it started. So the night of broken glass was the start. So Arnold compared, dude, the Holocaust almost wiped out all the Jews in Europe. And you're going to compare that with a bunch of fucking people who were invited, come on in, let's go, come on in, to the fucking Capitol. And the people, the real true MAGA people are walking around with flags around them, or, you know, old people like with cameras. You know, when you see the guys with the black knapsacks, the fucking masks, the glasses, and the fucking MAGA hats with, you know, and they're carrying shields. Those are Antifa. You know, that was a whole setup. But let's just, come on, Arnold. I love Arnold. I love Arnold. Okay, I do. And I know Arnold personally, guys. He's actually not a bad guy. But I got to tell you something. Stick to fucking bodybuilding. Okay, just stay in your fucking lane. You know, just like, listen, I'm a guinea. Fucking, you know, Robert De Niro to Italians was like a modern day Frank Sinatra. You know what I mean? And to old school guineas like my father, you know, Frank Sinatra, you know, Dean Martin. They were like, you know, because Dean Martin was Italian. His real last name wasn't Martin. But the thing is, you can't, you don't cross over that shit. Because now you got fucking Robert De Niro like, fucking Trump. I fucking hate him. I can hear it. He's like that. I mean, like, holy shit, dude. You know, calm down. You know what I mean? Take a fucking, you know. You understand what I'm saying? Like, calm down. So, but Arnold is very woke right now. Donald Trump could fucking, you know, go out in a fucking ski boat and save some kid drowning out in the middle of the ocean, and they'd say, well, you know what? He fucking took the fucking food out of the shark's mouth. He can't win.
John said, I just looked. It's still as set as an exhibition match. That can still mean BS rules. That is true.
Yes.
Mike M said, all is done. It makes the fight look staged. My brother George is in there, and he says, had Kevin Iole on the show today. Rules are not clear, but definitely changing. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff going on with this.
I wanted to know if George knows anything about what's her name. I always get her, Dakota Ditcheva. Did you ever see that fucking girl? Because even what's her name? What's his name? He's not a girl. What's his name?
Joe Rogan.
No, the other guy that fucking George knows.
Kevin Iole.
No, the other one that owns the fucking.
Dana White.
Thank you. I did game face my fuck. Anyway, yeah, even he was saying this. They fucking, the girl signed, you know, with another company, but they wanted her so bad. They're actually looking to make it. I didn't know they could do this. Did you know that they could do this? I watched an interview with Dana White where he's saying that they can actually trade. They can actually trade a fighter or, you know, group of fighters for another fighter. Did you know that? I never heard of that. George Zapata, have you heard of that? Because I saw Dana White saying we might make a move for her, you know, to trade. The girl makes $1 million fight. She's like a female Mike Tyson. And when she fights, she fights girls. She fought a girl that almost beat Valentino, whatever the fuck her name is. And she annihilated her. It was like easy, you know. And she busts girls' livers. She breaks ribs. She fucking knocks them she hits them so hard that they're like, fuck. Like, remember when Mike Tyson was fighting, what the hell was his name there? I see his face. The big fucking, I was going to say the big black dude, but they're all black.
Mitch Green?
No, the other one where he kept saying he was like a girl. He kept going, like that when he would hit him and shit. I'm
trying to think of Carl the Truth Williams.
No, it was another guy. Jesus Christ. He was a guy who kept talking shit before the fight. And is he English? You guys know what I'm talking about. Somebody. No, it wasn't Frank Bruno. Fuck. You guys know what we're talking about. He kept saying, Mike Tyson kept saying, he's making girl noises in here when I'm hitting him. What the fuck was his name? Anyway, this girl's like that, you know. She's unbelievable. Wow. And she's fucking hot. Like, if you saw her on the street, you'd be like, yo, you know what I mean? And she'd be like, look, I'll fucking knock you the fuck out. And you'd be like, yeah, okay. Meanwhile, you know.
Keith said that the Patriots have a male cheerleader. The Patriots do too. The Patriots.
Wait a minute. Joe, that's true. Isn't that weird? Are those kids with the Patriots? I saw something about Patriots too. Is that?
I don't know. I didn't see the Patriots. I know it's the Vikings for sure.
It is.
I saw them running around. Yep.
Yeah, but some have that male dude that just goes out and throws the girls up in the air, and they do that, like, you know, handstand on your head and shit.
Terminator Juice says, "Hey guy, been a while, but I've been seeing all the videos. They all come out. Greg, I love you. You've been watching you for years. This whole
thank you, Terminator Juice. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Thank you,
Dan. What's going on, George? What he said, Greg, we still have Pacino, the best actor of the 20th century.
Yeah, he's great too. But I have a feeling if he doesn't say anything. Thank God, Al. But Al Pacino's still fucking. He just had a kid. He's like 82. He just had a kid, by the way. So did I think De Niro, which is disgusting. But Al Pacino, I love Al Pacino. How can you not like him? You know, I mean, shit.
Megan says, question for Joe: would you have ever or thought about writing a book? No.
There we go.
George actually. George would. That's.
I know who you are, Megan. So
yeah, Megan. Greg, actually, I was going to ask you a quick question.
Yes.
Someone asked me, when you're on juice, on gear, is it possible to overtrain when you're on gear?
I don't believe in overtraining at all. I believe in under recuperating.
Okay.
And everything else, practice makes perfect, right? Baseball players go in the batting cage every day. They go live pitching. They do all, you know what I mean? I just feel like you got to recuperate more. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe in overtraining. That's just me. You know, some guys, there are guys who have a lot of white fiber and they can't take much, you know, just do some explosive movements and then they have to rest. But you do grow when you rest. But I don't really, you know, believe in like overtraining. Right, but steroids do accelerate obviously the repair growth process. So
correct.
Look at these fucking kids. You know, dude, Sam Salik was a kid who, like, you know, when a fucking, you know, when the pandemic hit in 2020, maybe I'll hit the gym, you know, when everybody's out saying, like, you know, these guys, you know, some of these guys, like 3 years ago, they were just a kid in high school or whatever. And now they're walking around like, you know, all jacked and shit, you know. That's going to go too, just as fast as they get it. It goes just as fast.
Oh, of course.
But the thing is, you know, with drugs today, forget about it. There's a drug for every process of the body. You know what I mean? For every process of the body, they take a drug for every including Titan, melanotan. It's an injectable drug for everything. It's amazing. Anyway,
George said it was Tyrell Biggs.
There, George. I knew George would find it. George is right. Tyrell Biggs. Mike Tyson kept saying he was in there making girl noise. Every time he'd get hit, he'd go, oh, like that. You know what I mean? And if you watch, you got to watch this girl's fights. When she hits, the girls, they make that face, and you can hit them, and they try to run away from her. I mean, these are real, like, you know, bull chicks. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say too much, you know, get us the kibosh. But, you know, they get in there, and they're fighting, and, you know, and they're like, you know,
getting kind of nuts.
The announcers, like, they're trying to sniff her, you know what I mean? Meaning, like, you know, because she's hot looking, bro. I'm just telling you, you would never know. If you see, that's a classic. Joe, I've told you that I seen a chick. I saw a fucking video where some chick is, you know, I don't know if it was her boyfriend or a bouncer in a club. He was a big fucking guy. He was like 6'4", and she was a little tiny girl, and he was pulling at her, and they were arguing. And he kept pulling her. She kept smacking his hand away. And then he went after her. And she just jumped up and threw a kick and knocked him out. And everybody's like, oh, shit. You know, because she was a skinny. But she obviously was an MMA fighter because she threw a perfect roundhouse kick to the head. She jumped like a spinning roundhouse. She jumped up and kicked him. He didn't, you know, wasn't expecting it. And, you know, she was fucking cunt. You know what I'm saying? Like, sexy looking, you know?
Son of Sammy Davis. You know who that is. Greg, that's Tyrell Biggs.
Yes, that's Nick. What's going on, Nick?
Smalls, the nut shots were great with Francis Botha. Yeah, I remember something like that. Keith, Pacino likes Stallone. Lots of lean right. They are very good friends.
Pacino likes Stallone. Lean right. Okay. Yeah, Stallone totally. I got to give him credit. He's out there like Donald Trump's a fucking hero. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you get it. But what are they going to do to him? You know, we're not going to let you do anything else in Hollywood. So, like, they tried it with Mel Gibson. He's like, yeah, okay. You know?
Yep. John Scuderi said, I feel like when you're experienced, you can stimulate the muscle easier with less sets too.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. You got to find out what's right for you. You know what I mean? I like lots of sets, lots of reps, low rest periods. Everybody's, you know, but I don't believe in everybody's so obsessed with the overtraining. You know, maybe some of you guys, you know, but they're not obsessed with over drug use, right? You know, they'll take every fucking drug on it and big amounts. Now, I took a big amount, but I took only I never took growth hormone or any or IGF or insulin. I never took any of that shit. None of that shit. You know, I mean, I was a testosterone junkie. I'm not gonna lie. I took 6,000 milligrams plus other fucking little testosterone and shit. You know what I mean? I like testosterone. I love androgens. But, you know, today, these guys take, you know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. You know who I talked to today, Greg, by the way? Big Frank.
Oh, you did? That's my boy.
Yes.
Big Frank and I are boy. Did he tell you?
Yes. He texted me, but I didn't get back to him. I was busy at work. And
Joe, if you ever saw him in person.
Yeah, big man. He said he was like, I said, so we're going to set something up a little bit. So,
oh my God, bro. That's one big son of a bitch. If you saw him, he's 6'4", you know.
Yeah, he's a big
and
dude.
He's fucking jacked, bro. His shoulders are 6 feet wide. He's really big. Big Frank's a big fucking guy.
Dude, yeah, we connected and everything. John Scuderi said, what's going on, fellas? I'm at the airport flying from New York back to Florida to my bed.
Oh, shit, John. What's going on, brother?
Visiting up here or something? Wow.
Yeah, I guess he used to live up here. Now he lives down there.
Yeah. Biggs was a great amateur, but not good pro. Style wasn't good for pro.
But if you remember correctly, he was like supposed to, he used to hit and move and a little bit of that Muhammad Ali style. And, people were saying, could Mike Tyson really, because this is like, he's like a boxer, hit and move and all that kind of shit and moving around. And before the fight. And then during the fight, Tyson was just, every time he hit him, he tried to get away from Tyson. He would like fold in half,
Yeah.
And Tyson after the fight was like, he's a pussy. Every time he's like a big crybaby in there. Every time I hit him, he's like, oh, making his exact words were he's making little girl noises,
But I was asking because my friend who was he's gassed to the gills, goes to the gym every single day, and I'm like, don't want to take a rest in between, maybe?
Well, I mean, you grow when you rest, but if you train like a body part each time, it's if you're not training the same body part, you can fucking run down your nervous system. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Which that could be a form of training too much. But if it's going to do that, you got to sleep and eat.
Yep. My brother says I do have a book coming out soon. Documentary on Kevin will be out next week also. Very good. Pop says, why doesn't Greg believe if it fits your macros?
Whoa. Well, because what is it? So you're saying it's good to eat shit.
He got jacked off of gear and pizza.
I know, but you know what it is? Listen, because you took a lot of steroids. You know what I'm saying? That's what fucking boils down to. You know what I mean? If it fits your macros, and if natural bodybuilder did, they'd never do shit. Let's be honest. You know what it is? You're trying to make it fit your macros, fit your fucking, I don't want to diet. I don't want to do. If it fit your macros work so well, then Ronnie Coleman and all these other pro bodybuilders that sit around eating skinless chicken and fish and all that shit, they'd be doing the same thing. Now, when you say you're jacked, do you have abs? Do you have, I'd have to see what you look like. And if you were skinny when you first started and you started eating pizza and all that shit, you can get away with that a little bit more. But it's not the norm. You'd be better off trying to eat quality food than junk food, and try to get your protein to it. Because if it fits your macros, means you can pretty much eat shit as long as you get into this and that. And I know, you know what I'm saying? I just don't like it. I just feel it gives people an excuse to eat junk. Now, I feel like if you're in the off season, you're not a pro bodybuilder, so you can do shit like that. If that's what you want to eat pizza, go ahead, eat fucking pizza. You know what I mean? But that's not like, oh my God, it's so good, it works so great that all these other you show me one pro bodybuilder. It's just like, show me pro bodybuilders that say, dude, SARMs are so good. I've been taking this and that and the other. No, they're all on fucking anabolics and other shit,
Yeah. John said, I bought a fish tank from Buster Douglas when he lived in Westbury.
Oh, shit.
Westbury. He has sharks in it. Oh, I know Buster Douglas. He wasn't the smartest. A little bit punch drunk when I was talking with him. Didn't know where he was, Sammy, $10 super chat. Thank you, Sammy. Someone say, thanks for the love, Greg. Joe, you got a great channel as well. It's always a pleasure.
You're welcome, my brother. Thank you.
Man. We appreciate it. He's on the fire department, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
NYFD.
Yep. Keith says, yeah, but eating garbage, how is it going to help you in the long term? It's always better to eat healthy.
It is, but a lot of people have that whole, like, if it fits your macros, like, there's protein in cheese on a pizza and, you can get nutrients. There's also, tomato sauce contains like certain vitamins and nutrients because there's, vitamin C in tomatoes. And, so they try to like make that fit like that. You know what I'm saying? I call it fits your narrative. You know what I mean? Because guys who want that shit, and then I get a lot of guys like, dude, I gained all this mass. And then when you see them, they're like fat mass, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're big blobby, like they're not like fucking like small waist, ripped. Now, I'm not saying this guy's not like that. I'm not saying that this guy's like, there are some guys who, when you're naturally thin, you got a fast metabolism, you can eat whatever the fuck you want and still get jacked. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a genetic thing. But if it fits your macros work so well, then pro bodybuilders would be doing that shit. They wouldn't be sitting there eating skinless chicken, a little bit of rice with fucking asparagus or some shit like that, and sitting there with the sucked in place, and they wouldn't be doing that.
Yep. Dan said everything in moderation.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't care if the kid eats pizza, bro. I don't give a shit if you eat pizza. That's your prerogative. You could do that. I'm not saying that. But when you do the whole it fits your macros, you're basically saying I can eat whatever the fuck I want as long as I get the macros out of it. And yeah, but you're not going to tell me that you're going to get lean, ripped, and all that shit like that. It's not. You show me, then you're Godzilla. Show me another bodybuilder that looks like that. And how many guys tell me, bro, you don't know, bro. I'm jacked. I fucking bench. I got like 22-inch arms. And then I see them and I'm like, dude, you're fucking, yay. But if you trim that fucking blubber off there, they're 18. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that this guy's like that. So kid, whoever the guy was, don't take that wrong. I'm not saying you're like that, but I'm just telling you that I've been around every pro bodybuilder under the sun. And I can't imagine I don't know one guy that said, that's how I got where I am today. It fits your macros.
Kai Green says he eats clean. You know, he cleans 24/7. He says he rarely cheats on his diet. Never cheats.
Well, you know what? I remember Lee Haney telling me Albert Pickles once had junk food. He ate like a chicken and broccoli or something like that. And I was like, to a lot of people, that's not junk food, like chicken and broccoli. You know what I'm saying? And but what I'm saying is that the whole theory is if you eat good food, right? Yes, you can have some junk. Yes, you can get away with that. Okay, it's okay. But for a lot of the guys don't want to get used to that, because then when you come into a show and then you have to eat all like, you know, skinless chicken and all that other bullshit and fish and fucking, you're going to have a fucking hard time sticking to that because it's going to kill you. Mentally, it's going to fuck you up. And then you're going to be like, well, one slice of pizza ain't going to matter because if I eat the pizza, I'm still getting to this and I'm getting the carbs that I need. No, you're not. It's not the same. I'm just telling you. And you won't win a contest.
Yeah. It's expensive to buy healthy food.
Oh my God, you fucking do. It totally is.
It's so expensive. That's why so many people just go for the junk food because it's easier, cheaper. It's, you know, it's crazy how much it's, you know, even hospitals will feed you crap. You know, the stuff at the hospitals feed you.
Oh, fucking terrible.
You know, you rather it's garbage. Garbage.
Dude, when I was in the hospital, they kept feeding me all kinds of shit. And I'm like, dude, I'm fucking diabetic, and you know that. They had to give me insulin shots in it because my sugar was so fucking high. And I'm like, well, you're giving me like fucking, you know, I'm eating eggs with toast in the morning, like they're, you know, like shit like that, you know, and, you know, potato with your fucking, you know, fake meat that they give. I'm like, dude, this is all carbs. What are you doing? You eat this for, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Yep. John Scuderi said Juan Morel has had insane genetics and metabolism.
Yes, but Juan Morel. And he eats, you know, he says he eats one thing. I get that, okay, but that's genetic. And when it comes time for shows, he certainly is not eating like that. I can tell you that for a fact. Okay.
Yep. Small says pizza sure tastes fuck better than chicken and rice.
Yes, it does. And there's nobody's saying, guys, listen to me. News bulletin. Nobody's telling you can't eat that. Okay. Nobody's telling you. I'm diabetic and I eat once in a while. Nobody's saying you can't eat that, but don't say to me, that's how I built my muscle, eating just that. You know what I mean? Because it fits your macros. Or don't say to me, that's not, if you're going to go for a show, you can't do it fit your macros. It's never going to work. It won't. And you show me one bodybuilder, there's not one pro, especially natural. Now, if you're juiced to the gills, you know what I mean? You'll do way better than a natural would doing that. But no natural bodybuilder can eat like that. It won't forget about it. You know, if you're taking all kinds of, you know, testosterone and maybe a little growth, and I'm taking Trend and I'm taking Deca and I'm whatever, all that shit, and maybe a little bit of Cytomel or fucking, you know.
Did you ever get Deca Dick or no? From Deca?
I think I might have started to get that. I just don't like that. It just didn't do it for me. I like Equipoise. You know what I mean? I didn't get you know what I mean? I came pretty much every day, so I'm lucky. You know, I got to come more.
John says SARMs are like 3-wheel motorcycles for people who are scared, or 2-wheel bikes. Yeah.
John Scuderi, that's a really good fucking analogy. That's a really good analogy. I mean, you know, SARMs is okay, but it's not, you know, it's still very hard on your system, bro. You can't take any oral you take, even some vitamins like fucking Tylenol, shit like that. You got to be careful. You know, if you take too much of it, it could fuck up your liver. The orals fuck up your liver. I don't give a fuck. Even stuff like, well, I'm on a mild cycle. I'm just taking Anavar. You know, girls taking, but still, Anavar is still toxic to your liver. You know what I'm saying? So you can imagine with SARMs and things. It's just,
yeah,
you know. Crazy. I mean, it's better than nothing, but it's not, I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah. AR said, hey, Greg, did you know Ed Connors ever stayed at his house in California?
I never stayed. I know him. Of course, I know him very well. I never stayed at his house. No. Nope.
Okay. John Scary said, so I was talking to Keith, when we were young bodybuilders, didn't care about health. They cared about growing it and didn't give a fuck.
Right. But there's a lot of guys who say that they're jacked. Like I got pretty big. And you look at them and they're chunky. You know what I mean? Well, powerlifting. Everybody who's fat considers himself like a powerlifter. You know what I mean? I want to see fucking small waist, that big V taper. You know what I mean? Veins in the arm. I want to see all that. Now, I'm not saying this kid that just said this to me, whoever it was that asked me. It's not this guy, right? No.
I don't know.
I'm right. Whoever the guy was that asked me that, I'm not saying that he's not built. He may be built like a motherfucker. I don't know. I don't know what he looks like. I'm just saying that kind of dieting doesn't work for most people. Unless you might have a fast metabolism, but I can tell you that you're not going to go for show eating that. There's no bodybuilder I know that eats pizza. Not Juan Morel. None of them before show. None of them. You can't.
Small says 100% genetics, impossible for better under 240, but I can gain fast eating pizza. Yeah, I guess so. Son of Sammy.
Well, what? Is that the guy that was Smalls? Is he the one that said he gets big? Is he the one that did the Fitch macros? I mean, when you say you get big eating pizza, you mean you gain weight. You're not getting like, holy shit, I got ripped, shredded arms from eating pizza. It's not
possible.
Pizza's loaded with wheat and fucking flour, and it's predominantly that. What do you build muscle on? I mean, yeah, okay, it fills you up, carbohydrate wise, but you can't tell me that like you're getting like super jacked on that shit. You know what I mean? Like it's not, you're getting full from the carbs and everything, but it's very oily and it's very fucking, yes, there's protein in the cheese. You know what I mean? But it's not considered. What you show me where pizza's considered a diet food, where a bodybuilder's like, dude, listen, eat pizza, you'll get really ripped and big and jacked. I've never seen it. You know what I mean? Nope. And I've been around a long time.
Son of Sam says it's not for nothing. Go back to the 8th round. Tyson knocked down Buster Douglas, and the count was 11 to 12 seconds.
I agree with that. I thought he had Buster Douglas out in that round. To be honest,
and he knocked him down too earlier in the, I guess whatever.
He did. But he also wasn't the Mike Tyson. That's because that's when he started with the fucking what's his name there?
Don King.
What's that?
He started with Don King, right?
Yeah, Don King was his guy there. I mean, he was done with. Kevin Rooney, and he was done with all those guys, Bill Caton, fucking, he left Bill Caton, and Jimmy Jacobs died, who actually was the only one after Customato. He's the one that kept him. He's the one that used to show him all the fucking films and all that shit on Rocky Marciano and the whole, because Jacobs was the one who had that whole library of films. I'm just saying it changed.
Yep. Small says, I agree with you, Greg. I don't eat much junk food, but I like it.
Yeah, listen, Smalls, I'm there with you, bro. I'm an Italian. I'm a Guinea. I love food. I love Guinea food. Okay, and I do love pizza. I love it. What the fuck? I love spaghetti and meatballs. I love all that shit. But you can't say it's a muscle building food. The only thing you could say is if you take it, the carbs, that you're going to get from it, they're not really considered quality carbs, but it will keep you full, Yeah. But it's not considered. You show me where bodybuilding considered, it's a
Megan, who is Steve? Well, we kind of, I don't know.
Megan.
Keith said, I don't think SARMs I think SARMs may be worse than steroids in the long run. I don't know. What do you think?
SARMs may be worse than steroids because SARMs are oral. You know what I mean? Steroids are injectable. There's not enough, like information on SARMs. You know what I'm saying? We listen to guys on the internet and all that stuff, but I can tell you this. I've never met a pro bodybuilder. None of these guys today, okay? None of them are sitting there going, dude, man, let me tell you, some SARMs made the difference. Never. None of them. They're all on heavy duty Babania. That's it. There's no Mr. Olympia or guy that's up there that says, I don't really take anabolics. I take SARMs. It's not. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just It's not true.
Yep. Donnie said, just out of curiosity, what is the worst experience that you had with gear?
What's the worst experience I've had with gear? Well, aside from, I guess you can't consider like, the infections, not the fucking balloon arm. The balloon arm. That was a hematoma. Okay, forget that. But I had one in my other arm, and I've had, from taking, from not cleaning the environment, reusing needles, maybe that. But if you want to talk about the gear itself, the The only thing I could say is I took the fucking trend and I couldn't take it because of 50 milligrams killed me with the fucking meatball in the throat and all that. I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And my friend, I think my friend had no problems with that shit. We took it. We had the same fucking. I told him, here, take it out of my bottle. I want you to take it right out of my bottle. And he took 200 milligrams right out of mine, and he shot himself with it. Nothing. I took 50, and the same fucking thing. I was like, you know what I mean? And it just, I don't know why it didn't affect him. But
I think suspension actually burns. I think with that burned, I think a lot. Suspension, you remember suspension?
Suspension. I don't. You know what's funny, Joe? I can't even say. Did I take suspension? I don't remember. I know I sold it.
What didn't you sell?
I know, right? I sold everything. I don't. Yeah, suspension's supposed to burn. I think all those like water-based steroids burn. There's like crystals in there and shit. You know, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I remember that one burned.
You know, it's a good question. Did I take suspension? I love fast-acting shit, but I think I might have just sold it. I didn't want to touch, you know, like because I had somebody interested, and it's like, well, fuck it. Why should I make the scuttle instead of fucking taking it myself? But propionate acts real fast. It hurts. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dan says, unless you're going to run a full marathon, eat some pizza. Yep, I guess so.
Listen, I'm not against pizza. You guys think I'm not against pizza. It's not a bodybuilding food, though. You can't say what helps to build muscle. It doesn't help to build muscle, but it makes you feel good. You know.
Lou says, have you ever been attacked by a dog? I don't know. No, I've never been.
Not really. Bob Bonham's dog kind of fucking was bad, but you know.
Mother-in-law's count.
What's that? Yeah.
Mother-in-law's count.
That's a fucking. That's a Yeti. That's a fucking abominable snowman. That's the fucking missing link.
I don't know. Dan said, do you think the sport of bodybuilding will ever be banned because of the deaths and steroid abuse? No, probably not.
No, you take steroids out of bodybuilding, you kill the whole sport. You're not gonna. You know what you guys? I'm telling you right now, you have no idea. A lot of even the naturals that you guys see online today, some of those guys are even dabbling or whatever. I'm just saying the sport wouldn't be the same. I could say that now. You know what I mean? It's just not the same. It wouldn't be the same at all.
Yeah. I gotta ask Lee, but there's a show in Australia that's doing enhanced bodybuilding where they allow you to take whatever you want. They're not going to test you. They tell you can take whatever you want. It's called Enhanced Bodybuilding Show. It's in Australia. So
yeah, but that's every show.
US. It's basically the same as US stuff, right?
But wait, that's every show. There's no such thing as non-enhanced.
But they test you here still, though. You can get caught.
They don't test the Mr. Olympia. They don't test the Nationals. There's no blood testing. They did like 2 years of that back in like 1991 or whatever the fuck it was, you know, because of all the bullshit that with, you know, George Bush, you know, the first George Bush, you know, with all the whole like anti-steroid shit, make steroids illegal. You know, remember then Lee Haney came in.
They don't test you in the Olympias at all? Like you can't be.
No, I'm just positive. No, okay. There's no guy. None of those guys get ever tested. No, there's no such thing as testing in any level of bodybuilding right now, unless it's a natural sport. Unless it says the natural, you know what I'm saying? Natural Mr. This, natural Mr. That. Unless it says that, there's no testing. There's no testing at all. They haven't tested. They only tested 1 or 2 years, and that was only because of all that shit. Just like they did with pro wrestling, with Vince McMahon. You know, the whole fucking stuff. That was all like 1991, 92, like that. That was it. Then all that shit stopped. That's when Lee Haney, instead of coming in at like 245, he came in at like 225. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then Lee Labrada almost beat him that year. You know, but I'm just saying. It was like 1 year in bodybuilding, you know. No, they don't test. They test unless you're going for a natural show. There's no testing, not at all. That's not effective. If you're not enhanced, you ain't winning shit.
Yeah, exactly. Jay Bowden's delivery system, BIOS 3 training convinced me a calorie is not a calorie. Clean food affects your delivery differently. A macro is not a macro in my own experience as well.
A calorie. Wait. So now, what does he say? A calorie is not a calorie. Clean foods affect you. Yeah, of course, differently. Of course. You got to be kidding me. It's not even close. You can eat a lot more. You can eat a lot more food if it's clean than if it's junk. So if it fits your macros, you're limited. I can tell you that now. Or you're gonna get fat. Oh, listen, you have to see what the guy looks like. You know, yeah, no, bro. I got like 22-inch arms just from eating that. Let me see what you look like. I get fucking fat. You know what I mean? Anybody, the fat lady in the circus. My friend has never trained in his life. He's got 30-inch arms, but he's 500 fucking pounds. You know what I mean?
Son of Sammy Davis says, Greg, the statute of limitations are up, and I'm 28, so I wouldn't know them anyways. But did you ever sell gear to the fire department guys back in the day?
Oh, fuck yeah. A lot of guys from the fire.
I know the police all the time.
I used to have state troopers come in my gym. That my friends would be, dude, there's trooper cars. I do, yeah, because they're in the back room. They would take the shots right in the gym, in uniform. They would go in my office. But I'm just saying, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. A lot of guys were firemen.
You would shoot them up. You would shoot them up.
Sometimes I used to shoot them if they had trouble with it. You know what the funniest thing is? I shot the one guy. He wanted it in his shoulder. Some guys wanted a shot in the ass. The other guys wanted it in the shoulder. I remember I shot the one guy, and when I pulled it out, the blood squirted out and hit me right in the face because we hit a vein. You know what I'm saying? Like, going through it. You know what I mean? I didn't, when he injected, it was fine, but we must have, went through a surface vein, like a little surface vein. And it, you always bleed. Sometimes you bleed more than others. And the blood actually shot me. It was like in my face. I was like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? He had a trooper uniform on. He was like, oh, fuck, I can't get that shit on my fucking uniform. So we had, we just held the fucking, rig for a second and went away.
John Solly said, Greg, hope you're watching the Yankees this weekend, 2-1 right now.
Yeah, I know. I just saw, what's his name, hit a home run. I saw before we got on, it was 1-1, Ben Rice. But, their pitching scares the shit out of me. So, and then they one day they hit like motherfuckers. The next day it's like swing and miss. Judge has got to win. Judge has to be a leader. I feel like he's not a leader. You have to be a leader. You gotta lead by example. You gotta go out there. You gotta hit the home runs. You gotta be aggressive. And when guys fuck up and do stupid shit out there, you gotta get in their faces. That's what Derek Jeter said. You gotta make some enemies. That's Derek Jeter talked all about that. Gotta make some enemies. Jorge Posada and what's his name? Tino Martinez, they said used to get in guys' faces. And, one time, I don't know if you remember this, John Salty, but one year, they didn't say why. The newspapers, nobody knew why. It was a closed-door meeting, and they said, no Yankee will tell you what happened. But A.J. Burnett got a black eye, came out of the meeting, and he had a big black eye because somebody in there punched him out, and one of the Yankees punched him out.
Really?
Yeah, because he had an attitude. He would be a little cocky and have an attitude. He was a great pitcher, but he had an attitude and would be like, fuck this, fuck that. And one of them punched him out.
I heard a rumor, by the way, that I heard Jorge Posada might be the next Yankee coach.
I don't know. I don't believe that is. I never heard that. I don't think so. I think that they're gonna, if they did get rid of, they'd go with, what's his name? That's a fucking bench coach right now.
TC says steroids are in every sport. Yeah, it is. It isn't. I heard it's in golf too. I heard golfers do it too.
Yeah, it's in every sport. You don't have to be jacked to be on steroids. It doesn't make some people just do low dosages and shit.
Night Rider says, Greg, you think Dave will stay single once Cyclone Amanda had finished? I don't know. It's up to Dave.
All I can say is he's not really, I don't know if you want to call that single, but whatever. He's laying pipe. I've been with him. I don't mean I've been with him like that, but I'm
How is he?
I know things. Let's just
TC. They tested after my show for a pro card. Wow.
What show though? Are you talking about an NPC show or an IFBB show? And no, if you have a pro card, it might be in some Joe Mataraz's division or something like that. But in NPC, there's no testing. There's no testing in the NPC or the IFBB. There's no IFBB guy gets tested or girl gets tested.
Our favorite Charlie Arms.
There is Charlie Arms.
When he was a kid, I knocked out Merv Griffin for disrespect.
Merv Griffin. Yeah, Charlie's funny. He comes up with these fucking guys from the set. Merv Griffin. That's a good one.
Yeah. Merv Griffin, Jamie Farr from MASH, all those guys.
Merv Griffin. Fuck Merv Griffin. I remember Merv Griffin show. I hate to see what he did to Ed Sullivan. No, just kidding.
Jay Bowden's delivery service. I'm saying you can get your macros from junk, but your body will end up looking completely different, especially if you're natural.
Of course.
You clean food.
You can get your macros from junk, of course, but then what are you going to do with all the leftover gagat? Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Do you understand? It's almost like if you fucking, I don't know, you cut open a fucking pig and you fucking just wanted the lean part of a pig. You know what I mean? They get all this fat and other bullshit and skin and hooves and everything. You got all this gagat laying after that. You know what I mean? What are you going to do with that? Your body says, okay, I pulled out some of the protein that's in a fucking whatever, in a pizza, and I pulled out a little bit of the vitamins from the fucking tomatoes and shit. What am I going to do with the rest of this shit? I got to store it. You know what I mean? That's what happens.
Son of Sammy Davis says, LOL, so classic. Wish I was there for that time. Now everything is so uptight. Well, I think people are starting to react more with TRT.
But it's definitely a different time. What happened was once the baseball scandal, if I would have gotten in trouble after the baseball scandal, they would give guys 20 years in jail for that shit. I'm lucky it was way before that in 2000, but after 2000, like 3 or 4 or whatever, when was that? It was like 2004 or 5 or something.
Yeah.
With that whole baseball shit, that upped the whole fucking ante. And with all, when shit hit the fucking fan, that's when shit went really crazy. I know Patrick Arnold very well, by the way, he's very liberal. But, I know Patrick, I worked with him, Victor Conti, I worked with Victor Conti, you know what I'm saying? I actually hooked Victor Conti up with Nathan Jendrick to write the book. Nathan Jendrick, my guy, who wrote the book with Victor Conti. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying I hooked up Victor Conti with that. So I'm just saying, those guys those guys went to jail, and for fucking with baseball. I mean, if that would have happened before all that bullshit,
Yeah, you'd have been in more trouble.
I'm very close with Kirk Radomski, who was the bat boy turned fucking drug dealer for the Mets. He was in the even at the '86 World Series. You see him running on the field and shit. He worked for the Mets for years. You know what I mean? And then he went to jail for that whole thing because he was the one giving a lot of steroids. Even Clemens, he would give it to the trainer, and trainer would give it to Clemens and shit. Clemens was writing fucking checks for that stuff.
Yeah, they all were doing it then.
Yeah, but wait, let me ask you a question though. Joe, think about this. Isn't this the truth? I mean, I think Roger Clemens threw his last pitch. He was like 44 years old. What's so bad about an older guy taking TRT or taking testosterone? He can actually prolong his career. Do you understand?
Correct.
Clemens prolonged his career.
Yep.
It didn't make him who he was, bro. You gotta be kidding me. He was a fucking super. Even Barry Bonds, he prolonged his career. Barry Bonds was always a fucking high average, a monster hitter. But he just wasn't a home run hitter. But now he had the ability to hit. Look, do you think if you took Ronnie Coleman when he was winning Mr. Olympia and you put him up at bat, you think he'd be hitting baseballs? Let me just explain to you. No. Okay, not even close. Okay, it's not the steroids that made these guys who they are. It gave them more authority. Now, Sammy Sosa, hit with way more authority than he ever did before that, but still, he had the ability to hit the ball. It just makes whatever you do. That's why a golfer, you may say, what is it? How does it help a golfer? It helps a golfer because the golfer has the ability to hit that ball. Now they hit it with more authority. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it might improve their fucking drive for it. That's all it does.
Yep. Son of Sammy Davis said, Greg's right. That was early May 2009 when AJ Burnett got his ass kicked. Rumor has it was Mark Teixeira who punched him.
I don't know about Nick. I'm not sure if it was Mark Teixeira. I think
it might have been Posada punched him.
It could have been Posada. Also, do you know who might have been? Nick, help me with this. It was who was the batting coach? They fired him literally like a week later. I think it was the batting coach or pitching coach. Was it batting? I'm pretty sure it was the batting coach. Could be the pitching coach. I might have it wrong. And then he went with the Mets.
I don't know.
Google that. It might have been him. It was a very popular guy with the Yankees. He was a popular coach. And all of a sudden, was it Long?
Kevin Long? He was there a long time.
Yeah, but all of a sudden they fired him for no reason, like a week later. And the rumor was it might have been him that punched him out. They don't know, and that's why he got fired like a week later, I think, after the Burnett. Google that and get back to find out who that was. And the Mets picked him up, and he went with the Mets. But I might have been him. I don't think it was Teixeira. Teixeira wasn't like that. I mean, if you told me it was Posada, they said Tino Martinez would jack a few guys too. He was pretty tough. They said recently, 2 years ago, Michael Kay said, I'm not going to say who it was, but one of the pitchers on the Yankees who 2 years ago was saying shit and acting a little stupid. And Tino Martinez went up to him, and this is in spring training. Okay, because Tino Martinez is one of the invited coaches. And he took him in the locker room and he slammed him off a fucking locker and said, listen, kid, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but you should watch your fucking mouth. Like, he put him in his place. That's what you need. Derek Jeter said, go Google what Derek Jeter just said. You got to stop making friends. You need to make some enemies. You got to, you're going to make a few of the players shit their fucking pants. And that's how you win.
Mm-hmm. By the way, our friend Kyle Farnsworth has his bodybuilding show coming up. I think it's this weekend or next weekend. I'm not sure.
I gotta talk to him. I gotta see what's up.
I gotta text him and see how he's doing. I know he showed me some pictures, Kyle. He's doing pretty
good. I gotta he sent me some pictures too, but I haven't seen him recently. I gotta talk to him. Fuck.
Yeah, I gotta talk to Kyle. I mean, he's a pretty cool dude. Johnson, when people say they're all natural, the first thing I think of, what the fuck is wrong with them? Get on the gear. That's what you gotta do, man. You know, Keith said
especially
nothing digest better than healthy, wholesome food. That is the key component to any bodybuilder.
100%. Dude, you show me a pro bodybuilder that fucking does it, that eats like it fits your macro. I mean, I'm not saying, dude, listen to me. I'm not saying you can't have a slice of pizza. You can't have a thing of spaghetti. You can't even eat a piece of cake. You can. But you can't say that's part of my routine because it fits your macros. You know what I mean? You know, there's eggs and flour in it. So I get the protein from the eggs. It's in with the flour. You know what I mean? And, you know, or in a piece of cake or something. And, you know, whatever. I don't know. I don't know how you fucking but it's not the norm. It's an internet thing.
Son of Sam Kevin Long. There we go. There it goes. Kevin Long. Thank you.
Kevin Long. I said Long. It was Kevin Long. I think we're not sure that he's the one that did it, but it was ironic because he was doing great. They had no problems with it out of nowhere. Like days or a week later, it wasn't long right after that Kevin Long got fired from them. And they were like, you thought like, oh my God, they would never get rid of Kevin Long. Why would they get rid of him? And nobody said any reason why. They just got rid of him. And I think he might have been the one that punched out AJ Burnett. Could be wrong, but
all signs lead to that.
Yep. To this day, Michael K says nobody's talked to. Nobody will tell you who it was. But somebody in that, it was a closed door meeting, and somebody decked him where he was fucked up. I mean, he had a big black guy. It wasn't a little. I mean, he was whoever it is threw one hell of a shot.
0311 said none of these clowns today have a natural base. So when they hop off gear, they are basically going to shrink down to nothing.
Well, that's what happens.
That is exactly
what happens. You know what I mean? If I didn't build I trained 20 years, 3 years natural. If I didn't have the natural, you know, build that I had, I wouldn't look like I do today at 65. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, you know, you could take TRT. TRT does nothing.
Yep.
Nothing. 200 milligrams. That's like saying, you know, somebody drank a beer or a glass of wine with their, you know, dinner, and then they're like an alcoholic. No. You know what I mean? You can, you know, I don't feel any different when I'm TRT or no TRT. No different. The only difference I feel is the joints don't seem to fucking ache as much. And the Pichu Ligado is always ready to go. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep. Just like the Trend Twins. When the Trend Twins come off, they're going to look like...
Yeah, but those guys, right. First of all, if you're 21, 22 years old and you already got male pattern baldness and you look like you're fucking 40, no bueno.
Nope. No bueno, no.
And you already got the liver that's fucking already, you know, forget about it. Listen, Kevin Lavone used to talk to me about this shit, and he said to me, bro, if I go on that shit after 2-3 weeks, I'm already fucking, my body, I'm a hyper responder. After 3 weeks, I make a fucking unbelievable gains. But as we get older, that's not what he wants. That's not what I want. I don't want to be jacked anymore because it's not good for the heart. I have whether I'm in good shape, which I am, and I don't look my age. Fuck you guys. Okay. I don't look but I am 65, okay, and a 65-year-old heart, and we don't want to put that kind of fucking pressure on it, you know,
because the blood pressure goes up,
right? Everything blood pressure goes up, the fucking kidneys go, heart has trouble, you know, it's not good. You get a stroke. You want, you know, you don't want to carry too much mass.
Exactly,
mass is not good. In all you could see online, there's guys, which some of it's bullshit, but whatever. I see guys like he's 90 years old. You know, 80 years old, 70 years old. Okay, and they're ripped, but they're not jacked. They're diesel, okay, low body fat, and they're muscular, but they ain't jacked. You know what I mean? There's a difference. And being jacked and being old is no bueno.
Nope. Knight Rider said, Greg, does Romano have a dictionary in front of him on after hours to get all those big fancy words in from?
No, listen, I got to tell you something. John Romano is actually a very, very smart guy. That fucking guy can do anything. He can build motorcycles. He can build a house. That's something he has built into him. You know what I mean? He's actually, I once got in trouble because when he got fired from MD, I told Steve, I came out in public. I don't remember what it was. I was doing an interview with somebody. And I said, John Romano's probably the best writer. Like, he's such a gifted writer. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a great writer. My column was number one. But the reason why it was number one was because I can throw the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the storyline in my content. But I could never write like he could write. You know what I'm saying? And Steve Blackman told me, don't you ever say that shit about him. I got in trouble for it, but whatever. But John's a very smart guy. I'm going to be honest with you. John's a very, very smart guy. Dave's smart too. Two different ways, though.
Yep. Dan said 311. That's a good point. Maybe that's why the 90s bodybuilders look better and put their work in before they started the gear. Yeah.
See, that's the trouble with all this shit today. It confuses guys' minds, and everybody wants to be Big Willie on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, all the shit, right? So what happens is everybody wants to take the babanya. They don't want to wait, like build a natural frame, do it the right way, the way I was taught to do it, the way a lot of older guys do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Today, Everybody wants the quick fix. Nobody wants. Guys have been training for fucking 2 weeks. Already said, no, dude, I want to look like Phil Heath. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, but you got to wait. Nah, I want to look like Phil Heath. I don't give a shit. I'll take Trent. I'll take and that's what happens.
Exactly. If we had Instagram back when you were the freak, I mean,
even right with that and the Rambling Freak, the column I wrote was so popular and everything. And I would have been fucking. I was Rich Piana before Rich Piana. Yeah, I did. I did a lot of TV shows. I've done a lot, and I do it as as me. You know what I'm saying? Like when Dave was doing Conan O'Brien, he was doing. Dave used to do the Hulk on Conan O'Brien, but people just said it's Dave Palumbo. You know what I mean? I went on as me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
John Scuderi says steroids don't make an athlete; they make the athlete better.
Right.
They have done studies on an eye.
Well, that's the thing. I was already jacked naturally. So what it did was it made whatever I had naturally. I was a really good natural bodybuilder. I told you I'm trying to be a little cocky. You know what I mean? And then I was, introduced to what the fuck, Kai Green, and and Kai Green and I did a little posing and shit outside Johnny Lat's gym. And I had big legs, which, no natural guys had big legs, but this fucking guy's legs were unbelievable. I had a big back. I have a really wide back, but this fucking guy's back was unbelievable. You know what I mean? I was hanging with him with certain things, but it was like, he was like so fucking, he had such mature, I don't know. He just he had that genetic look, where I was like, holy shit, I mean, me against him, I think he might have beat me, you know what I mean? Naturally. And for me to say that, I had, my head was up my own ass back then. I thought, fuck, no natural's beating me. You know what I mean? And, I was like, wow, because when I got cut, I would have put myself against Mike Ashley, who was supposedly natural too. I don't know if he was really natural because I heard stories, but Kai Green was unfucking believable when he was natural.
He was natural?
100% natural. So was Ronnie Coleman when he first became a pro. 100% natural.
Wow.
But Kai Green was probably the best natural I've ever seen. I mean, he was unfucking believable. He used to win Bob Bonham. Remember Bob Bonham? He used to run the Natural Eastern Classic or whatever it was called. Yeah. And he was the Natural Eastern. Yeah. And then he used to win that every fucking year. And he was like unbelievable. So did, what's his name that died? Who was a very good natural bodybuilder too.
Who?
Was Mr. Olympia. What the hell's his name? Joe.
Sean Roden?
Yes. Sean Roden. Sean Roden used to win Bob Bonham's show too.
Oh,
okay. Wow. And I'm just saying those guys were natural bodybuilders. Now, they had that black genetic, which was unbelievable. You know what I mean? They were naturally like, before I ever really lifted weights, Kai Green was super built. I was built before I lifted weights, but I wasn't huge. He was fucking big. Victor Richards, 15, 16 years old, curling just like fucking sewer caps and shit like that, was fucking a monster. A monster. No steroids, nothing. Didn't even know what steroids were. Fucking had like 20-inch arms. Genetic, was fucking like a monster. I'm just saying.
Did you ever meet Dallas McCarver?
Yeah, I've met him. Yeah, a long time.
He was big too at one time.
He was a big guy, but he was super enhanced. I'm just saying. I'm talking about these guys used to win. You remember Bob Bonham used to run a Natural Eastern Class. Big show. You know what I mean? A lot of guys who were pro bodybuilders started out natural and went into that show, won that show, and then became, but I'm telling you, those Green, Roden, Coleman, those guys were all natural when they became pro. They became. Now I don't know about when Kai Green became a pro. I don't remember how he became a pro, or how Sean Rowan became. But I could tell you now that Ronnie was definitely natural.
Kai Green should have won, maybe Olympia one year, because
he was see him natural though. I mean, he's so fucking jacked, juiced. Like now, you know what I mean. But I mean, I love this build natural because when me and him went out, we went up against each other, he was. I mean, I would say our backs were probably as wide as to get to the same width, but his back was so much more dense. He had such density. It was like I was like this, and then the same thing. My legs were jacked, but his. It's size-wise we were close, but he was so fucking dense. It just was. I mean, and then the minute he took the Babani, he was ready for the Olympia. I mean, we went from that to just the Olympia quality. You know what I mean? He's a fucking great natural bodybuilder, bro. Great natural. Sean Roden, fucking phenomenal natural bodybuilder. I used to be backstage with these guys. I used to work with Bob's show, and I would see them, and they were fucking great natural bodybuilders.
Yeah. Bill Hall said, were there any Jack Mafia gangster dudes back in the day? Yeah.
John Jr. was fun. I met John Jr. and
John
that
Jr.
guy was scary fucking looking, bro. He was super jacked, but he was around all jacked fucking guinea bastards, and they were all like, they look at you, and if you said hello to them, they'd be like this. They barely nod like this. That's what you get. You didn't even get this. You got this.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah,
right. I was in with somebody who was in with him, and I was like, okay, nice meeting you. I'm gonna go back to my seat because I didn't want to fucking be around that shit because they're like pit bulls. You ever walk in your friend's house and he's got a dog and that dog's just staring like a pit bull or something like that and it's staring at you and you're just doing like, bro, that fucking dog is gonna jump on me. I could feel it, and you're like, I'm getting out of here. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, Dom Sicali Big Dom Sicali was pretty jacked. He did it. A couple of the guys from Jersey over here.
Yeah, I think a lot. Fucking Sammy the Bull.
Tony knows.
Sammy the Bull. Sammy the Bull.
Yeah, he worked out to get that big. You know?
He did a lot of juice.
Yep. John Scuderi said, "Yep, John Jr. was juiced and decent size. Yeah, he was
very big. He's broad.
Yeah, too. A lot of the gangsters. I just had Dom Sicali on. I just interviewed him. He was a pretty cool dude.
What's the guy's name? I did Joe Frank something. I think he was big too. He was jacked. I just did that show. I'm so bad, Joe. I don't remember. I'm so shot.
Yeah. What was it? Big Hall says, Big Lenny tried to stay big. Didn't work well for him, unfortunately. I wish people would took better care of themselves. He had much more to give and entertain.
But you know what the problem is with Big Lenny is that Big Lenny was a great guy. I knew Big Lenny. Nice. Yeah. And, I talked to him 2 weeks before he died because his mother died, and I was giving him my condolences. And everything. But the thing is, the problem is with Big Lenny is everybody took those guys like because they were train wrecks and a freak and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So nobody sat him down and tried to. Dave did. Dave tried to talk to him about the gut and all that shit. Because you could see he was just not healthy. You know what I'm saying? Black circles around the eyes, the whole bit. But these other guys, they feed them. They feed their egos because it's like they're more laughing at you. Like, look at this. You know what I mean? Exactly. And they want you to be fucked up. The more fucked up you are, the more you're gonna get like attention. You know what I mean? Instead of somebody helping a guy, he needed help. Dave did try to help him, but Dave wasn't hands-on. You need somebody hands-on that was right there and would take him like each day and like work with him a little bit and like get in his head. So he realized, listen, it's not about YouTube hits. You want to be alive. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep, you got it.
You can't just have somebody show up at your fucking office, you say a few words to them, and they're going to go home and still do their thing. You have to have somebody involved in your life. And that's the thing.
Yeah. All right, Greg, we're about an hour in. I got to wrap it up.
I can't believe that. It's just, this goes so fast. It's so
I know it's wrapped. So I got a couple things got to do. But thank you guys all. Thank you, John Scuderi, son of Sammy Davis, of course.
Yes, thank you guys.
John Saldi, our man. Of course, Dan, Knight Rider, Keith. Thank you, Charlie Arms. All you guys, thank you so much for coming in every week with us. We appreciate it. Again, Smalls, everyone, thank you.
I love you guys, man.
Okay, Greg, I'll talk to you in a little bit, brother.
And all I can say is, let's go Yankees. Fuck Boston.
Yep.
Thanks for watching the Zapata Brand Podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and listen where all podcasts are available.